Why? Because then you got Kwanzaa pulling out her titties. The whore pulled out her titties. And these whore bags over here started feeling and fondling on her tits. Mike.
I don't have it to do with you. Girl, you can go over there, rant and rave. Girl, you can shake all your rainbow bright hair all you want, dear one. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I don't have nothing to do with you, and I'm done. Baby, you can scream my name from the rooftops from now till Jesus come back. I'm done after this.
Introduced to Tick's Meat. Do you see what I see? Did y'all really let, hello, casting wardrobe, y'all let him roll up out of wardrobe with these fans on, giving us all of this, thinking we were not going to see it? We have been waiting with bated breath and anticipating all season long for the slightest glimpse, and y'all just put it out there this episode in all of its magnificent glory.
Listen, that young man said, baby, you ate on this first date, you giving up the cooch on the first date, okay? Well, you gonna run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. That's our new theme song. That is the new song. Listen, somebody need to put a beat to that. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. That's what y'all got going on.
Called out Sandcastle. Sand, bitch. Ow. Oh my God, it was so funny, girl. Woo, baby, listen, let me tell you something. This shit started to turn into the precursor for some gay porn. That's what I thought it was. Because Big T is getting all, the voice starting to go deeper and get a little more wet and moist and sentimental and all of this shit. And it was real gay at this point. Like, I thought the bitch was going to, I thought Lil Murder was going to turn Big T around and do him like he did Uncle Cliff and do the grease it up with City Lou and ran right in there. It's not a coincidence that Big T started off the conversation by trying to find out if Lil Murder was fucking Mercedes, which he found out he's not. It's also not a coincidence that he would start talking about prison. Why? Because the bitch was probably fucking in prison. Girl. Uncle Cliff, you better go get your man. Big T got plans for that. What he had on looked like something Big Bird vomited up or something like that. Like, I did not like it. That Big Bird couture he was going for, it did not work. Like the pastor of a gay mega church on Easter Sunday. Okay, it was way too much sequins. He had on way too much makeup. Baby, his face looked like Yana Van Zap's neckline. Okay, just way too much makeup clumped in everywhere on his face. Get it together, sweetheart. Like, you're a big girl, so that gives you a whole lot of canvas. So that was a whole lot of makeup, honey. And Rico looked like he was auditioning to be one of the three kings, or he was auditioning to be the main character on Jesus Christ Superstar. Girl, Wayne, did you have on a blue thong or a blue G-string or something? If you did, I want to see. Can I see? Get me up in my DMs. I do want to see if you have a blue thong or a blue jock strap or something like that. I'd love to see it too. Anyway, but I liked it with the turtleneck. Now, Troy. Hello. We are here. What is going on? What's going on? I am here. Welcome to Run Your Mouth. It is me, L Teddy 27, and we're here to give you today's latest headlines and news, the latest headlines and news of the day to help you make it through. I haven't had a Red Bull in a while. Y'all, I found this white peach, Red Bull white peach. I only found the sugar-free one. I want the regular one, not the sugar-free. But I have not had the white peach. So I'm going to try this white peach for the first time and see what she be about. See how she tastes and see what she be about. Anybody else had this white peach? Let me see what this be about. Hold on. Okay. I can dig that. That I can dig. I likes that. Oh, I likes that. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I like that. Oh, hold on. Hold your line. That's kind of good. What's up, y'all? We got a lot to talk about today. Listen, I'm going to do the best that I can not to spike out today. I have a story. I think it's the first story of the day that may make me lose my goddamn mind. There, the likelihood of me spiking out today is very high. So I'm just telling you now, before I get there, if you hear me screaming and bloviating and blathering about, know that you've been warned. Now listen. Um now listen. I need y'all to go ahead and hit the like button. I need y'all to go ahead and share the video out. I need y'all to do all of the things. Y'all know YouTube don't give a damn about me. YouTube could give two rats asses about L Teddy 27 and whatever the fuck he got going on. They just don't give a damn. They do not care to put me in said algorithm or anything like that. So I need y'all to be on y'all job and do what y'all do and make sure that you hit the like button and help us make it down to the algorithm. Okay. Now, let me say hey to y'all, and then we're going to go ahead and get this party started. Okay, Aquarius Goddess became a member. Shout out to Aquarius Goddess and shout out to the members. We love our members around here. Shout out to the members. Hey, Symmetry, you are first today. And let me say hello and welcome to you, my love. Looking ravishing in your purple. Hey, Lady D, how you doing today? How are you? Hey, Tamara, what's going on, beautiful? Hey, Tanya Boo, what's going on, my love? Y'all know I loves me some Tanya. Now, I fights about Tanya now. It's a couple people that I'm going to fight about. Tanya is one of the people who I will fight you about, okay? Mm-hmm. Hey, Lock Queen. What's going on, my love? Hey, Savon, how you doing today? Hey, Xavier, what's going on? Oh, so you had the new one, you had the new one, Tanya, you ain't even tell me. You ain't even tell me. Hey, Kelly Hans. We're going to get to the Diddy case. We're going to get our daily update a little bit later after we get through our sugar spike segment. Mm-hmm. Hey, DPG. What's going on, sweetheart? Mm-hmm. Crazy Homebody Girl is here. Uh-huh. In her rightful place. We got Katrina. What's going on, Katrina? You're not late, Katrina. Mm-mm. You ain't even got started yet. We ain't even got started yet. Okay. Um, you say you watch it with one eye open. I was talking to really be a little bit later. They say the cicadas are on their way. I'm just saying. They said the cicadas are on their way. So listen, if you're in the area that's prone to getting cicadas, just know they're coming. They are coming. Hey, Catherine Powell. Mm-hmm. Now I don't know who Jafar Ali Shah is, but hey to you too. I'll just be kissing everybody. You know, you get diseases when you kiss people like that. Hey, Tracy W. Mm-hmm. What's going on, Tracy? Angela. Angela Roche. Angela Ratchet. Angela Roche. When we're feeling bougie, we say Angela Roche. When we're feeling gutter, it's Angela Ratchet. Depends on how we feel. Okay. The algorithm is full of it. It is full of it. Okay. Chow. You good? I'm good over here. Hey, Cam. Speaking of which, Me and Cams will be live tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for Red, Blue, and Black. We have a great episode and some great content to bring to you all tonight. So come back around here tonight so we can discuss some in-depth politics, and y'all can ogle at the handsome guy that is Cams. Hey, Miss Baythang. Yeah, Pam was over there giving you blow by blow all day long. Shout out to Pam, because Pam was over there today doing the Lord's work, giving you blow by blow testimony. We don't have that type of time over here. You say this new one is this white peach is good though. It is good. Mhm. Hey, Sweet Pea, what's going on? Symmetry said, don't forget to hit the motherfucking like button. Hey, it's always Sunny. How you doing over there? I'm just saying. We were just talking about you, Aquarius. That you became a member. Shout out to the members. Yeah, they say the cicadas are coming. Hey, Cymera, how you doing today? Montrez, what's good, bruh? What is up? Harold. Hey. What's going on? Hey, Harold. I don't know if it's better than the peach nectarine is good. Now, y'all know my personal favorite is the watermelon. Well, actually, my actual new personal favorite is the grapefruit. The grapefruit is my new personal favorite because I'm a big grapefruit person. But my long-standing personal favorite was the watermelon. But I can't find the grapefruit anymore. I can't find the grapefruit anywhere anymore. And I love the grapefruit. Is it better than a peach nectarine? I don't know, Cams. I haven't had the one that's not sugar free, so I got to taste the one that's not sugar free, and then I can let you know. But y'all know the goat is watermelon, but my new favorite is grapefruit. All right, y'all, we ready to get this party started. We got a jam-packed dossier today, and we really need to go ahead and get this party started and get through it. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary, gender-conforming members of our audience, I bring to you the late to great Larry Myers to help us usher in our Sugar Spike segment.
Oh, God. You see, this is the part that I like.
Major sugar spike.
So long, well, I want to fight. Daddy gave. His only begotten son.
Major sugar spike.
And shall ever believe.
Major sugar spike.
They shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Taste the biscuit.
Jesus!
I wish somebody help me.
I'm over here trying to stuff my face. I'm so hungry, y'all. I ate all day. And I'm over here trying to stuff my face with a little bit of cheesy snack mix. I love, if y'all want to know what I really love, the classic Cheez-It snack mix is like my favorite. Or like my favorite. Like, I really love this. So I'm over here trying to stuff my face. I ain't ate nothing all day. And the way my stomach is like, girl, put something in me. So that's why I just grabbed a handful and just stuffed it down my throat. Anyway. The sad part is this Red Bull is sugar free. I don't have not one piece of candy or anything. I exhausted all of the high chews. I have nothing around me to regulate my sugar levels. So y'all touch and agree. Just stretch your hand toward the monitor or the phone or your computer, whatever. Stretch your hand toward me and pray that the Lord give me strength and I don't spike the fuck out on this first story. I'm going to try not to lose my mind on this first story. I'm not going to even read the title because that's going to start me off wrong. And I already know that this is going to piss me off. Now, on your screen, on the left is David Hogg. On the right is Malcolm Kenyatta. Let me read this to you. The Democratic National Committee has taken a first step toward possibly requiring a new election for two of its vice chairs, including David Hogg, who has stirred controversy with his call for primary challenges to long term incumbents in safe seats. The DNC's Credentials Committee voted Monday to nullify the results of the February election in which David Hogg and Pennsylvania State Representative Malcolm Kenyatta won two of the three vice chair positions. The vote followed a procedural complaint that one of the losing candidates made challenging the way the election was determined. But internal strife has dominated much of the past month of Hogg's DNC's term. Hogg's group Leaders We Deserve launched a $20 million effort in mid April to advance more than a dozen primary challenges against Democratic members of Congress to bring in a new generation to serve. He's said sitting members in competitive districts and those in safe districts who have been effective at standing up to President Trump would not be targeted, but his move has still caused plenty of backlash within the party. DNC Chair Ken Martin said following Hogg's announcement that no DNC officers should try to influence a primary. But party leaders have said the vote Monday was about procedural issues, not other considerations. Christine Pelosi, the daughter of Nancy Pelosi and a member of the Credentials Committee, said in a post on the social media platform X, formerly Twitter, that the first vice chair, Artie Blanco, was elected with a clear majority. But Malcolm Kenyatta and David Hogg were elected on a combined ballot. One of the losing candidates, Kaylin Free, issued a complaint alleging conducting the elections on a combined ballot violated the DNC's rule. The younger Pelosi said she called for upholding the election results, but addressing the issue for future elections. But her proposal fell short of the majority vote of the committee, which eventually voted to recommend that the DNC hold new ballots for David Hogg and Malcolm Kenyatta's vice chair positions. The full membership of the DNC will need to vote on the proposal for a new election to be held. Quote, meanwhile, Malcolm Kenyatta and David Hogg continue to serve as DNC vice chairs, and I think I speak for all of us on the committee when I say I hope both of these talented individuals put their names on the ballot again. And that came from Christine Pelosi. David Hogg denounced the move in a statement saying the DNC had taken its first steps to remove him from his position. He said, quote, while this vote was based on how the DNC conducting its officers' elections, which I had nothing to do with, it is also impossible to ignore the broader context of my work to reform the party, which loomed large over this vote. End of quote. David Hogg added that the DNC made it clear its plans to remove him from his position in declaring its, quote, neutrality, end of quote, stance in primaries. But he argued party committees such as the Senate and House Democrats' campaign arms regularly get involved in primaries. He also said, quote, the DNC has pledged to remove me, and this vote has provided an avenue to fast track that effort, end of quote. Malcolm Kenyatta posted on X, formerly Twitter, that he disagreed with the ruling, but respects the committee's decision. But he challenged the idea it is about Hogg, noting the challenge from Kaylin Free was brought well before the 25-year-old who entered the spotlight as a survivor of the 2018 Parkland school shooting announced his primary plans. Malcolm Kenyatta went on to say, quote, the Credentials Committee believed, as they stated, that they are remedying a procedural flaw, But doing so the way they did is a slap in my face. I'm frustrated, but I'll be okay. End of quote, said Malcolm Kenyatta. He went on to say, quote, however, any story about this that neatly places this into a narrative about David Hogg is wrong. I worked my ass off to get this role, and I have done this job every day since I've held it. End of quote. Malcolm Kenyatta also made a pointed comment at David Hogg, arguing he wants the story to be about him. Quote, this story is complex and I'm frustrated, but it's not about David Hogg, even though he clearly wants it to be. End of quote. And that's what Malcolm Kenyatta said. This is a whole shit show, y'all. Let me get through this story and then we can break this down because this is an entire fucking shit show. The DNC said in a release that the committee found their elections violated parliamentary procedure, but both Hogg and Kenyatta would be eligible to run again for their positions. A few other candidates, including Kalen Free, would also be eligible. Quote, I am disappointed to learn that before I became chair, there there was a procedural error in the February vice chair elections. The Credentials Committee has issued their recommendation, and I trust that the DNC members will carefully review the committee's resolution and resolve this matter fairly. And that's according to DNC chair, Mr. Ken Martin. Let me finish this out before I lose it. Let me finish this out. He went on to say, quote, I thank all of our officers for their service, including Vice Chairs Kenyatta and Hogg, and look forward to continuing to work with them in their officer posts as this matter is resolved. End of quote. Hey, Ronald. Hey, lovely 31 Blueprint. Y'all see how I'm taking nice breaths? Now, I'm going to go macro first and talk about the bigger issue, and then we can go micro after we go macro. The bigger issue here is there is still this civil war and infighting in the Democratic Party between progressives and the establishment. Okay. Let's be clear. Both David Hogg and Malcolm Kenyatta are a part of the progressive faction of the Democratic Party. They are not establishment Dems. They are on my side of the Democratic Party, way off to the left, progressive members. Now, I wish David Hogg's organization is being done a disservice because he won't shut the fuck up. Okay. Now, I mean, I'm just gonna call it what it is. If David Hogg would shut the fuck up, leaders we deserve would really be out here doing the Lord's work because that organization is doing the right thing. If you're not familiar with the leaders we deserve, it is a progressive organization that puts money into progressive candidates. And what they do is they go and put some money so that people can have ads and to help people out in the primaries because they're all about primarying people who are not doing things to help out the constituents and their constituents or the citizens of this country. And so when we have people like the Henry Cuellars and the Jim Clyburns of the world, and I could go down a grocery list of individuals who need to be primary. Let's be clear, okay? They go about raising money so as to put money in the political campaigns of people that can potentially primary these people. However, David Hogg when David Hogg ran for this vice chair position, thinking that he could help change the Democratic Party from the outside in. But when he got in there, he learned really fast that that's not how they're not at that point yet. And so what at first he was kind of quiet about it. Once he realized that he wasn't going to be able to effectuate the change that he wanted to effectuate, he then began to be vocal, and he came right out and said, "Oh, well, I'm still going to be, I'm one of the founders of Leaders We Deserve, and I'm still going to be out here working with Leaders We Deserve in order to make sure that we primary members of the Democratic Party that ain't doing their goddamn job." To which the Democratic establishment lost their fucking minds and said, "I know the fuck you lying. Not if you working for the DNC and your job is to just basically rubber stamp whoever we want you to rubber stamp, because that's all they want the DNC officers to do. They don't want any real change. Why do you think people like Christine Pelosi is high ranking in the DNC? She's the daughter of Nancy. They put all of their people in place in administrative positions at the DNC so as to not change anything. They don't want any parts of progressive people. Not at all. And so now what you have is you have Malcolm Kenyatta and you have David Hogg, who were both progressive, and Malcolm Kenyatta is being caught up into the fuck shit with David Hogg, because now the Democrats are looking at David Hogg as the spokesperson for all progressives, and all progressives will then be lumped in with him and what he got going on down to the DNC. And so now Malcolm Kenyatta, who came right out and said, "Nah, bro, this ain't just about fucking David Hogg. Don't just try and make this a David Hogg situation. This is an attack on all progressives. That includes me. I've been over here doing the goddamn thing and doing the Lord's work as well, as well as several other people, and y'all around here lumping us in with somebody who don't know how to maneuver in these situations." The beautiful part about Malcolm Kenyatta is progressive and has remained progressive and has not left his progressive stances and ideologies. But what he learned is he learned to maneuver through the DNC and get things and that he needed to get done. The same way AOC had to learn how to do that, because when you first come and you're progressive, they're not trying to hear what you have to say. Okay? The same way Ayanna Presley learned how to do that. The same way our girl Summer Lee learned how to do that. They are staunchly progressive. They know that they're in the minority in the Democratic Party. But what they learned is they had to take some bumps and bruises early on, but they learned how to maneuver through the system to still get some the things that they wanted to get done and stay progressive. What we have right now is a shit show in the Democratic Party, because it looks like we don't know what the fuck is going on. There is infighting. There is absolutely a civil war going on in the Democratic Party. Why? Because what this election proved is what you did in 2020 did not work. Establishment politics does not work. You forcing both Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to go and have your middle of the road, centrist, establishment Democrat ideologies are what cost you the election. And now you want to double down and triple down on that and say, "Oh, well, this is just what it's going to have to be." And we weren't that far from winning the election. So if we keep doing more of what we did during the 2024 election, we'll be successful. You're not learning, Democrats. My problem with this is, first, David Hogg, I just want you to shut up. Just keep working and shut the fuck up. That's all I need you to do. You're not helping. You're hurting. David Hogg is a great organizer. David Hogg is a great fundraiser. But what I need you to do, David Hogg, is sit your ass the fuck down and shut the fuck up. That's what I need you to do. I need more people like Malcolm Kenyatta, who's measured, who's learned how to maneuver through the Democratic Party to talk. What I also need to fucking happen is you stupid ass establishment fucking Dems, the Hakeem Jeffrieses of the world, the fucking all of the establishment Dems, go sit y'all ass the fuck down. Because if y'all don't understand that what you're doing is antithetical to what your party should be doing, you will never win another election cycle. And that includes this upcoming one when we know the electorate is pissed off. We know the electorate wants to go the complete opposite direction. But no, you will fumble the ball and end up losing what's the easiest election cycle to win. The American populace is angry. They are disgusted. They are mad, and they are willing to vocalize their anger. But because you stupid asses can't get out of your own way, can't see that what you did is not working, here's the problem. Let me tell you the real problem. During the 1970s and 1980s, you saw a big shift and change in the Democratic Party. You saw a lot of young Democrats come into the House as well as the Senate. A lot of young politicians came into the House and the Senate in the 1980s. What happened is the stupid ass Democratic Party, when Bill Clinton won the election, right? In 1992, and the Dems started to see some wins in the mid 90s, they got stuck there. They never changed. They thought that was a winning strategy from then on out. And these stupid asses, we're living in fucking 2025, and they're still acting as if it's 1995. They're still stuck 30 years ago. They still don't want to let go. We have people who have been in their seats on the Democratic side since Ronald Reagan was in office. Since Ronald Reagan was in office. Their mentality on politics has never changed. And what's so disgusting is you've had 40 years go by, and some of these people have stayed in these seats. And by having 40 years in one seat, what's happened is an entire generation of people have gone by, and you've not set up the next wave. Generation X was never afforded the opportunity in a lot of these districts in the Democratic Party to hold any positions of power, to do anything. Generation X just was not afforded that opportunity at all. The baby boomers held on to power, and they're still to this day trying to hold on to power. They will not let it go. And so you missed an entire generation of wonderfully gifted and intelligent people that could have come in there and could have actually been on their way out. And so now you have the late millennials and Gen Z that say, hey, we're not going to be denied. We don't give a damn about your traditions. We don't give a damn about decorum. We don't give a damn about y'all establishment. Fuck that and fuck your lives. And they are busting the doors open. The problem is they have the passion, but they don't have the experience and the pedigree. And so they will come in and it'll be messy. They'll come in and they'll have great ideas and great beliefs, but they don't have the experience to know how to do it in a way that doesn't tear shit up. And the stupid ass establishment Dems who are still fucking baby boomers don't even know how to speak to the Gen Zers. Now, Gen Xers can kind of mitigate that gap, but they totally left Gen X out. They totally said, Gen X, we don't give a fuck about y'all. Y'all will never be in positions of power. And so that generation is lost. So now you have baby boomers trying to communicate to Gen Zers and young millennials, and everything's getting lost in translation. Nobody wants to concede to the other person. Nobody wants to say, let me teach you so you can take my position, or let me try to learn from you. Everybody's just doing this. And now we have a fucking shit show. And so now, because the other party understood the assignment, the other side masterfully maneuvered, changed, and now their whole trajectory is on the upward rise. Now, 2026 and 2028 election cycle should be a fucking slam dunk for the left. But no, we have fuck shit. Because what do you think when you ceremoniously oust David Hogg and Malcolm Kenyatta from their VP chairs at the DNC? What the fuck message do you think that that's going to give to your base? What the fuck? What the fuck do you think that you're telling your base? What you're saying again is we don't give a damn about Gen Z, millennials. We don't give a damn. We do not want any progressives again. And so we want people who have the last names that we recognize, who we know is going to not buck the system, who we know is going to go along with the program. And if that means we lose the next few elections, elections be damned. And I know people don't want to hear it, but there's a reckoning coming. And what's going to have to happen is we literally, if the Democratic Party doesn't get themselves together, we literally are looking at a time when there's going to have to be the a realignment of political parties, because right now the Democratic Party isn't serving anyone. It's not. The Democratic Party is not serving anyone. It's not. And I'm not saying it's going to be one of the ones third parties that we have now, the Green Party and none of those. There's going to have to be a new political party that will become that will replace the Democratic Party. It's going to have to, because right now the Democratic Party really is at an impasse. Establishment Dems don't want to give up ground. Progressives don't have enough reach. And what happens is the base gets alienated. The base gets alienated. Because I have no reason to believe that these people aren't going. We all see what's happening here. They knew when they had those elections, if there was that much concern about the procedural, the parliamentary procedures of how that election was held, it would have been called out immediately. While they were doing it, the next day, the same day, someone would have said, hey, procedurally, that shit was wrong. What happened was they did not like the way the elections went. Somebody then went and researched and looked and found a proviso, a loophole, some type of parliamentary procedure in order to disqualify this election. Because you notice they said, oh, it's not all of the elections, it's just the elections of those two. Because you had different elections for the president and the first vice president than you have for the other two. It don't pass the sniff test. This is a mechanism, and we've chronicled on this platform how the Democrats do everything in their power. They find every loophole imaginable to fight against progressives and members of their own party, but can't seem to find a fucking loophole, can't seem to find a parliamentary procedure to fight against the Republicans, to do things that actually help American citizens and their constituents. Y'all don't got no smoke for that. Y'all can't find a fucking parliamentary procedure at all to get legislation out there. You just throw up your hands. But let a progressive try to get a position, and y'all find every single parliamentary procedure y'all can. Every loophole imaginable. I'm glad you said this, Cams, because that leads us to our next story. Now, prepare for the Dems to now, as much as the Republicans are coming at Jasmine Crockett, prepare for establishment Dems to come after Jasmine Crockett. And it's because she's saying the parts that they don't want said out loud. Here's what she said.
It is this fear that the people within the party, within the primary system, will have about voting for a woman, because every time we voted for a woman, we've lost so far. And I think that that's a natural fear, because we just want to win. So there's a lot of people that are like, you know what? Like, let's go find the safest white boy we can find. I mean, I'm just saying.
Those are the callers that we're hearing. We're hearing people.
No, for real.
A white man's got to do it. We're getting those callers.
For real. And to be clear, when we talk about them, I can tell you that there is one specific candidate. I had a donor on the phones with me telling me that all the donors are lining up behind that candidate. So I can tell, and I can tell you, it's not a black person nor woman. Okay, so like, it is, they have, quote unquote, they have chosen. And when I say they, it's the same donors that most likely had their opinions about Joe Biden and move. So like, that would be the they that I would talk about. Here's what I want people to understand is I do absolutely agree with Malcolm when he talks about not ceding your power. At the end of the day, don't give up your power. People fail to recognize how unique Trump is. They continue to say, well, we lost. Well, they both lost to Trump. Trump, who is a misogynist. Trump, who is going to ramp up the misogynist in the first place, because that's what he does. He is disrespectful. Like right now, he still doesn't know how to deal with me, because if you punch me, I'm punching back, okay? So like, here's the deal. Now, I know he think he running again. But that ain't happening. I don't care what all is going on in this country. And I don't care how many things we won't say we are absolutely going to do. I am telling y'all with all confidence, he is not running for a third term. That is not a thing.
Sorry, I was trying to eat again. So, y'all heard it. Hey, Paul. I saw some other people come in. Karen D came in. Some of y'all, Uncle J came in. Some other people, Karen D. Hey, everybody that been coming in. Sorry, I didn't say hey. I was on a tangent just then. Hey, Jay Parrish. But here's the problem. Jasmine is now saying the things that have been said only in small circles out loud. The donors are running the party. The donors are the ones who are saying, yeah, we need to stick with establishment. Now, these will be the same donors that when the first presidential poll comes out and the person who they're behind, who they're backing, is the lowest in the polls, then they'll try to shift and go somewhere else. She's saying the quiet part outside, because the people who actually control the Democratic Party, that being the donors, they're just as racist and misogynist as the Republican donors. Now, mark my words. You're going to start to see Democrats come after Jasmine Crockett because now she's saying the things that they say behind closed doors. She's saying those things out loud, and they're not okay with that. The Democrats, many of them, like to be seen as the inclusive ones and so forth. Many of them, I'm just going to call it what it is. Many of them are just as racist and bigoted as the people on the other side. But that doesn't help them win elections in their respective areas. You ever notice how some of these people flip-flop between parties? They're going to do whatever they feel they need to do to win an election. They're going to do whatever they feel they need to do to impress a donor or to make a donor happy. This speaks to why these people cannot win. This is why they're not going to win. I'm just saying. I promise you, you're going to start to see members on the left start to talk about and say things about Jasmine Crockett and how she needs to be quiet and how she needs to fall in line, and how, sometimes we have to watch our decorum and we have to watch the things that we say. They're going to start to say all of those things. I'm just telling you how this is going to go. Prepare to hear it. I'm just telling you how this is going to go. Oh, well, sometimes, she really needs to reel in some of the rhetoric that she has. Oh, well, some of the things that she says isn't helping us be bipartisan. Oh, well, we have to do and say the right things so that the American citizens know that we have decorum, and we know how to maneuver ourselves. I'm just telling y'all what's about to happen. Because she already told you. They are already now. The people who I talk to at Cams, if you still in the chat, Cams, we may need to break this down tonight. Some of my operatives in positions of power have already told me the two front runners that they have right now are either Shapiro or Bashir. And there's a faction that wants Shapiro because they feel like they need somebody that's going to be brash like Trump, but on the left. So that's why there's a faction of the Democratic Party and their donors that want Shapiro, and then there's a faction that says they want Bashir because he appears to be more measured, more establishment, and he's been able to win in a traditionally red state. That's what that's what my insiders tell me. There are two factions with the donors, and those are the two early picks. So that may be something we may can talk about tonight when we do red, blue, and black. Maybe Kaz, we may connect if we have time, we might can add that to the agenda. But I'm telling you that's where they want they are not going to have anybody. They're damn sure not going to have a woman. You're not going to see another female candidate for president in the next 20 years. I could see us being in the year of our Lord 2045 and or 2044 before we get one. They're gonna Walls, because Walls was a part of Kamala's ticket. They're not going to pick him. They would not pick Walter because he was attached to Kamala's campaign. So he's always going to have that stain. They are not going to pick Tim Walz because one, he was attached to Kamala's campaign, so they're gonna they feel like that will alienate people, and people were very surprised that Kamala picked Walz. They were upset that Kamala picked Walz to begin with. That's a whole nother story in itself. But yeah, be prepared for them to come on the left. I ain't just talking about the right. We know the right can't stand Jasmine Crockett, but be prepared for people to come after Jasmine Crockett. And those people who you see, when you start to see those people on the left come after Jasmine, what they're declaring to you is where they are aligned. Those are the people who have been bought out by the donors, already aligned as establishment Dems. Already aligned. No matter what they tell you, no matter what you read, when you start to see them try to stifle Jasmine Crockett and come out against her, they're telling you how they're aligned. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm just telling you what it is. In more news, so I told y'all yesterday when that young man signed that executive order after, mind you, after the Biden administration had already put measures in place to lower prescription drug costs, right? He then, on his first or second day in office, signed an executive order. We talked about this yesterday. He signed an executive order doing away with that, and now tried to come back and say, oh, he fixed the problem that he made, that he caused and made go away. Not here or there. So now, we talked about that yesterday, but I also told you yesterday this was not going to fly. Big Pharma has funded both sides of the aisle. Big Pharma was not going to sit back and let you sign an executive order thinking that you just going to go ahead and cost them billions upon hundreds of billions of dollars. You think Big Pharma was going to give up hundreds of billions of dollars in profits and just be quiet about it? No. Oh no. Oh no. Well, then there's this. An executive order from President Trump aims to make deep cuts to prescription drug costs, putting GOP lawmakers who have traditionally opposed government-directed drug pricing in a tough position. Republican lawmakers, including Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who occupant Trump directly said would be behind this. When he was talking about this before he signed the executive order, he said, oh yeah, I've talked to Mike Johnson and Speaker Mike Johnson and Majority Leader John Thune about this, and they're going to make sure that we get legislation on this. Let me continue reading. Republican lawmakers, including Senate Majority Leader John Thune and Senate GOP Whip John Barrasso, have warned in the past that directing the federal government to set drug prices will slow innovation and limit patients' access to life-saving therapies. Now they're in the tough position of having to respond to Trump's latest move, which would cut deeply into pharmaceutical companies' profits. The industry, which contributes generously to members of both parties, warns that Trump's proposed reform could jeopardize hundreds of billions of dollars in research and development investments. We talked all about this yesterday, y'all. Senator Thune said Monday that Trump's executive order would be, quote, fairly controversial, end of quote, if put into legislation on Capitol Hill, reflecting his party's longtime skepticism of using Medicare's huge buying power to pressure drug companies to lower prices. Quote, my assumption is that would be fairly controversial up here if we were doing it legislatively, end of quote. And that's the exact quote from Senator Thune himself. President Trump's executive order directs the Secretary of Health and Human Services to work with the administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services to quote communicate communicate most favored nation price targets to pharmaceutical manufacturers to bring prices for American patients in line with comparably developed nations. End of quote. It will cover drugs offered under Medicare and Medicaid, as well as those offered under private insurances. The Senate Judiciary Committee Chair Chuck Grassley, who's like 1,001 years old, when asked about the president's proposal, instead touted his own bill to ban, quote, deceptive and unfair pricing schemes, end of quote, by pharmacy benefit managers, the middlemen that pharmaceutical manufacturers have blamed for rising prices. Let me cut to the chase. These Republican senators are coming out. They're trying to thread the needle, okay? Republican senators all over Capitol Hill. And we're talking not see, it's different with his House members. Trump doesn't really respect members of the House. Let's be clear. Trump, and I don't blame him. The occupant Trump does not respect members of the House at all. They're like petulant children. That's all they are. They're just petulant little children that you have to look after and send the nanny over there or the governess to go take care of. However, you do have an issue when the senators start to speak out about it. And now we have Republican senators alike. You're talking Senator Langford out of Oklahoma. You're talking Senator Tom Tillis out of North Carolina. Certainly Senator Grassley out of Iowa. We already talked about Senator Thune out of South Dakota. Senator Barrasso out of Wyoming. These are key leaders within the Republican Party, and certainly within the right side of the aisle in the Senate. They're all saying, yeah, there's a problem. Why is there a problem? Because their pockets are lined. Now, let's be clear. In the same way Donald John, occupant Trump, signed that HBCU executive order that basically said nothing and meant nothing and was nothing but a television moment, a camera, a moment on camera to act as if he did anything when he didn't, designate one single penny toward HBCUs, did nothing for an HBCU, but have a camera op. That's what this executive order was as well. It literally did nothing. Literally did nothing. Couldn't do anything until Congress got involved. And I told y'all yesterday, there was not an ice cube chance in hell that Congress would do anything to thwart prescription drug costs. Why? Because that doesn't help. Now, occupant Trump was all over the media yesterday. What was he saying? Oh, well, I'm sure the Democrats, they have to sign off on this now. There's no way that they wouldn't sign off on this because this plays into their what they want, which is lower prescription costs. Forgetting that the Democrats were not the ones you needed to be worried about. You needed to be worried about these fucktards right here. Your own party are the ones that you needed to try to convince to sign off on this. They're the ones who are not going to sign off on this because they're not giving up that money. You ain't giving them no money. So they're damn sure not going to stop the money coming to them from the big pharma. Oh, no. You would not be taking money out of their pockets. No, ma'am. No, sir. That's what we're not going to do. We'll see how this shakes down. I don't see it going well. In more sugar spiky news, well, Let me read this to you. The Episcopal Church has halted a refugee resettlement program with the federal government over the prioritization of white South Africans, while other populations see their immigration protections removed. Quote, just over 2 weeks ago, the federal government informed Episcopal Migration Ministries that under the terms of our federal grant, we are expected to resettle white Afrikaners from South Africa whom the U.S. government has classified as refugees, end of quote. And that's what presiding Bishop Sean W. Rowe said in a letter on Monday. He went on to say in the same letter, quote, in light of our church's steadfast commitment to racial injustice and reconciliation and our historic ties with the Anglican Church of Southern Africa, we are not able to take this step. Accordingly, we have determined that by the end of the federal fiscal year, we will conclude our refugee resettlement grant agreements with the U.S. federal governments. End of quote. The State Department announced that the first group of white South Africans had entered. We saw that they entered the country yesterday. The Episcopal Church said, "Yeah, we're not going falling in line with your fuck shit." They said, "Listen, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. We already got our money for this year. After this year, we don't need your money. And we're going to let you know we cannot help you with those white people. We're not here for your fuck shit." Also, listen. Sean, listen. That young man, presiding Bishop Sean W. Rowe, was not fucking around or fucking off. Okay? He also said in the letter, quote, I want to be very, very clear about why we made this decision and what we believe lies ahead for Episcopal Migration Ministries' vital work. It has been painful to watch one group of refugees selected in a highly unusual manner receive preferential treatment over many others who have been waiting in refugee camps or dangerous conditions for years. I am saddened and ashamed that many of the refugees who are being denied entrance to the United States are brave people who worked alongside our military in Iraq and Afghanistan and now face danger at home because of their service to our country. End of quote. He said he's not here for it, and neither is the Episcopal Church. Find you somebody else to fuck around with and play with. We're not here for it. I'm here for it, presiding Bishop Rowe. I'm here for it. Let them know. Let them know. I'm just saying. Hey, D's Cuts. Are you enjoying yourself? I sincerely hope you are. I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen to you, these cuts. I don't know. But what I will say is, we hall monitors will handle you. We have hall monitors over here that handle situations such as yours. If you are that angry, and just go and talk to one of the hall monitors. They'll make sure that if need be, they'll make sure that they handle all you know, your issues. I know that they will. I'm just saying they'll make sure you just go and talk to them. They'll have they handle all of those situations. I hope you enjoy your time here. Anyway, moving on. In more scary sugar spiky news, let me tell y'all about this story. A traffic stop in Dalton, Georgia, which police admitted was a mistake, led to a 19-year-old Mexican-born college student's arrest and possible deportation. The Dalton Police Department on Monday said it was dropping the traffic-related charges against Ximena Arias Cristobal that led to her initial arrest last week, but she remains at an ICE detention facility in Southwest Georgia. Quote, after suffering for more than a week in police and ICE custody, it turns out this was all the result of a police mistake. The tragedy of our system is that there is no immediate remedy for Samantha, as ICE does not care about fairness or justice. End of quote. And that's according to her attorney, Dustin Baxter. Uh, her attorney also went on to say, quote, "We will fight for her release and her upcoming bond hearing at her upcoming bond hearing, and then try to restore some sense of normalcy to her life." End of quote. Now that's also from her attorney. Now, the ordeal began May 5th when Samantha, who is in the country without authorization, was pulled over by Dalton police. She was accused of making an improper turn and driving without a valid driver's license. But dash cam video of the traffic stop showed that the officer meant to stop another vehicle. Quote, "After a review of the dashcam video of the traffic stop, it was determined that Miss Arias Cristobal's vehicle appeared similar to the offending vehicle, but was not the vehicle that made an improper turn." End of quote. And that's a quote from the police themselves. The news release stated that a black pickup truck made an illegal right turn on red at an intersection. The officer could not immediately pursue the truck because he was behind another vehicle that had stopped at the red light. Samantha was driving a dark gray pickup truck. According to local news reports, she has lived in the Dalton area since her family came to the U.S. when she was just 4 years old. She is enrolled at Dalton State Community College. Her arrest sparked protests in the city. Chris Crossan, assistant chief of police, said at a news conference that he, quote, "regrets the circumstances that led us to where we are here today," end of quote. But he added that the department has no part in the proceedings. Online records show that Samantha is being held at the Stewart Detention Center, an ICE detention facility in Georgia. Her father, Jose Francisco Arias Tovar, is being held at the same facility. He was detained about 2 weeks ago following a traffic stop. The Department of Homeland Security said that her father, quote, "admitted he is in the country illegally," end of quote. The Department of Homeland Security also said, quote, "the family will be able to return to Mexico together." Mr. Tovar had ample opportunity to seek legal pathway to citizenship. He chose not to. "We are not ignoring the rule of law," end of quote. And that's from your Department of Homeland Security. So this girl had a mistaken traffic stop. She ain't did nothing, right? It wasn't even her. They confused her pickup truck with another pickup truck, picked her up, arrested her, but magically, while she was in the Dalton Police Department custody, magically ICE swooped in and snatched her up. And all the Dalton Police Department has to say is, "Oh, bad. Oh, we got the wrong person. Oh, but it's nothing we could do at this point. She's with ICE. We have nothing else. We could do nothing else. There's nothing we can do for you." Baby, I don't know. This is happening. This is happening. The girl ain't did nothing. Ain't did a damn thing. But they done snatched her up and said, "Oh, bad. ICE got her now. She's with ICE. There's nothing we can do. Go talk to ICE. We regret that this happened, but there's nothing we can do." This is a mess. A damn mess. Well, Harvard University has lost another $450 million. Yep. The Trump administration is cutting another $450 million in grants to Harvard University a day after Harvard pushed back against government allegations that it's a hotbed of liberalism and anti-Semitism. In a letter to Harvard on Tuesday, a federal anti-Semitism task force said Harvard will lose grants from 8 federal agencies in addition to the $2.2 billion that was previously frozen by the Trump administration. The letter said Harvard has become a quote breeding ground for virtue signaling and discrimination, end of quote, and faces a steep uphill battle to reclaim its legacy as a place of academic excellence. The officials at the Education Department, Health and Human Services Department, and the General Services Administration all signed the letter. Now, that $450 million is in addition to the $2.2 billion that they've already lost. This is happening. Well, that young man right there is Hassan Piker. Now, Hassan Piker is a very famous and notable Twitch streamer. All right. He says that he was detained by CPB Custom and Border Patrol at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport after returning from Paris. I do have the video. Where's the video? Here's the video.
He knew exactly who the fuck I was, but he was basically like, he always made it seem as though he was asking certain things that after discovering in the process of that conversation, he would ask additional questions. So he kept saying, "What do you do as a job? Do you talk about the news?" And I was like, "Yeah, I talk about the news." And he kept saying, "Okay, so when you talk about the news, do you talk about the war?" And I was like, "What do you mean by that?" He's like, "Do you talk about Trump?" And that was the first time where I was like, what the fuck is this question? Like, I literally straight up told him, I was like, why are you asking me this? Like, I was like, what does this have to do with anything? Yeah, they asked me about my fucking Twitch bans, chat. It's not even a joke. They asked me about fucking Twitch chat, like Twitch bans. The reason for why they're doing that is, I think, to try to create an environment of fear, to try to get people like myself, or at least like others that would be in my shoes that don't have that same level of security, to shut the fuck up. And for me, I'm going to use the privilege that I have in that moment to try and see what the fuck they're doing. Okay?
I told y'all that this would start to affect all media when this administration tried to flex on legacy and mainstream media and have all of these outrageous lawsuits and threatened to remove their broadcast licensing, and then they started to exclude certain members of the media from the White House press pool and all of this fuck shit. I told you that they were not going to stop there. I told you they were going to start to pick on people on YouTube, people on Twitch, people on TikTok, people on all of these platforms when they start to speak out about this government. I expect, y'all know I travel a lot. I go out of the country a lot. I expect they're going to start to try and question my ass and say, well, what the fuck did you say about President Trump? And I'm going to say, I said he ain't shit. And every motherfucker in this goddamn cabinet ain't shit. That's what I'm going to say. With my whole ass chest. Hey, my child, wonderful child of mine. That's one of my cheering. How you doing? You need to call me too. I need to talk to you about something. But this is happening, y'all. These people are not going to stop. They are not going to stop at all. At all. In more news, well, members of the Rainbow Coalition compound, please don't believe that you all are. I keep telling y'all, they're coming after y'all with reckless abandon. Okay. In the great state of Tennessee, Governor Bill Lee signed into law House Bill 1270, right? And it's a doozy. Now, after the signing of said bill, students, teachers, and administrators and other educational professionals are now at risk of being dead named and misgendered without recourse after the signing of said bill. Not just the students. We're saying students, teachers, administrators, and anyone else involved in the education system in the great state of Tennessee. You can be dead named even if you have officially changed your name, your gender. You will be dead named. Now, House Bill 1270 protects individuals in the education system who misgender or dead name others and requires schools to use pronouns aligned with the person's sex assigned at birth and names or derivatives of a person's legal names. The bill, introduced by Republican Representative Mark Cochran, passed the House by a vote of 77-18 on April 16th and was passed by the state Senate by a vote of 27-6 on April 21st. Critics decried the bill, including Democratic State Representative Justin Pearson. That's one of our boys, one of the Justin brothers, who joined other opponents in saying the bill should be renamed the Bullying LGBTQ Plus Student Act. Representative Pearson said, quote, with all of the problems that we have as a state, whether that be dealing with poverty, the lack of health care access, the rights of women to choose what they do with their bodies, we're getting legislation after legislation that furthers discrimination, othering, and separation. It's despicable and ridiculous that this is how we are using our time and energy, and it isn't helping anybody. End of quote. This is happening. Signed into law in the great state of Tennessee. So they don't give a damn about what you say. It's bullying, state sanctioned bullying. And this isn't even just the students. This applies to the adults as well. So this applies to not only the students, but to the teachers. All right. This applies to the teachers as well as to the administrators and everybody involved with the school system. It's disgusting. In more sugar spiky news, we almost done with the sugar spike segment. Praise you, sweet 7-pound, 3-ounce baby Jesus. A gay California man had his face peeled off in a knife attack by an Uber driver in Arizona last year, but police have refused to press charges. Rene Almarez was visiting Phoenix with 3 other friends when he entered an Uber driven by Arnold Lawton outside a gay nightclub on May 5th, 2024, according to police reports. Rene Almarez said that the Uber driver appeared annoyed by the gay lingo used in their group and soon turned up the radio to cover their conversations. Almarez told the Uber driver, Mr. Lawton, the group could end their ride early if he was offended. At that point, an argument ensued. Now, Renee says he tried to exit the vehicle. As he tried to exit the vehicle, Mr. Lawton uttered a homophobic slur before slashing his face and hands. Renee had, quote, half of his face, said, quote, half of his face seemed peeled off, end of quote, according to the police report, and required emergency care at a local hospital. Now, the Uber driver, Mr. Lawton, told a different story to the police. He did not deny slashing Renee's face, but claimed he acted to defend himself from assault from Renee and his friends. Mr. Lawton said that he slowed down his vehicle. As he slowed down his vehicle, he was, quote, punched in the back of the head and on the side of his body so many times that he saw stars, end of quote. Really? Renee had spoke with police on the night of the attack, but did not speak with them again until he initiated contact a few months later. He was put in contact with a liaison officer, and even though Arizona has no sexual bias hate crime law, Renee still felt there was enough evidence to charge Mr. Lawton in the case. 4 months after the attack, however, he was notified by letter and a call from an LGBTQ plus liaison that Mr. Lawton would not be charged. Prosecutors said they did not have enough evidence to obtain a conviction. Misha L. Hepner, deputy county attorney for Maricopa County, wrote in a letter, quote, "We must be able to prove all elements of a crime beyond a reasonable doubt. If we are unable to do so, there is no reasonable likelihood of a conviction at trial. For this reason, this submittal does not meet the charging standard of the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, and we are declining prosecution at this time," end of quote. The news stunned Renee, who disputed Mr. Lawson's account and claims of self-defense. Now, Renee said that he did contact the FBI regarding the assault and possible federal hate crime charges, but has yet to hear back from them. I don't think you're going to hear back from them now that you got your boy in office and Cash Patel running the FBI. Now, Mr. Lawton no longer works for Uber. He parted ways with Uber shortly after the attack. These things are happening. I'm gonna skip this next one because I don't have enough time to really address this one like I want to. I really want to spend some time on this one. So I'm going to remember to address this one tomorrow. We'll do this one on not Silly Saturday, or Run Your Mouth tomorrow, because I really want to talk about this one where this the police officer you see there slammed this black man on the ground to the point where the black man got paralyzed from the neck down. He still has a job. Is still working for Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, although the Palm Beach County had to settle a $5.5 million settlement with the victim. But this guy, Dustin Sullivan, he still works and still is employed as a sheriff deputy for Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. We'll get to that tomorrow. We'll get there tomorrow. Let's get to our Diddy trial update. Let me give you the updates from today. Now, as you can see here, Cassie took the stand today. Today was all about Cassie, okay? Now, Cassie took the witness stand today. Lord, I lost my place, God. Yeah, Cassie, let me give y'all the updates. Hold on, let me go back. All right. Now, we started off the day with the scripper, not stripper, scripper, Mr. Phillip taking the stand again, okay? Well, actually, they started the day with arguments on whether or not members of the media should be able to see some of the sex tapes from the freak-offs. Now, they got videotapes of the freak-offs, and there was argument about whether or not members of the media should be able to see those tapes of the freak-offs. There was no decision on that yet. The judge is going to take that into consideration. However, that was discussion early this morning, before the jury entered. Now, where am I? Right here. Now, they resumed testimony from the scripper, Mr. Philip Daniel Philip, the bald head black man. So at this point, Diddy's lawyers got a chance to cross-examine scripper dude, Mr. Phillip, who says he was paid to have sex with Cassie while Diddy watched. Now, defense lawyer Xavier Donaldson pointed to Mr. Phillips' past statements to federal prosecutors as he attempted to show inconsistencies in his recollections of events. Mr. Donaldson finished his cross-examination after suggesting Mr. Phillip had developed a crush on Cassie and wanted to isolate her from Combs so he could be with her romantically. Girl, y'all are trying it. Mr. Phillip denied that, but admitted, quote, I was attracted to her. If she ever gave me the chance to date her, I absolutely would have. End of quote. Sir, you're not helping yourself, Mr. Phillip. Once Mr. Donaldson was finished, a prosecutor asked Mr. Phillip more questions, underscoring the witness's earlier testimony that it was Mr. Combs who directed his sexual activity with Cassie. Cassie then takes the stand. Where am I? Now, there was before Cassie actually took the stand, the judge ruled that her husband, Alex Fine, can be in the courtroom for most but not all of her testimony. The judge, acting on a defense request, said that Alex Fine must leave the courtroom when questioning turns to Cassie's allegations that Diddy raped her in 2018. That's because Diddy's lawyers say they may call Alex Fine as a witness later in the trial in an attempt to discredit Cassie's allegations. Prosecutors argued that Alex Fine is part of the emotional support system for Cassie, who's pregnant with their third child and should be in the courtroom when she testified. AUSA, Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson, that's the main lady. She's the lead on this, Emily Johnson. Lead attorney Emily Johnson, I'll just call her AUSA Johnson, started questioning Cassie by asking her age, her occupation, which she said is musician and entertainer. She said she was in a relationship with Mr. Combs for over 10 years. She testified that her relationship with Diddy ran the gamut from good times to arguments and physical altercations. She told jurors, quote, if there were violent arguments, it would usually result in some sort of physical abuse and dragging, just different things, end of quote. She testified that Diddy would mash her head, drag her, kick her, and stomp her in the head when she was down. Asked how frequently Diddy became violent with her. She softly responded, quote, too frequently, end of quote. Now these free calls were the highly according to her, were highly orchestrated sex parties, which she said stemmed from Diddy's interest in voyeurism. They would entail hiring an escort and, quote, setting up this experience so that I could perform for Sean, end of quote. Shown still images from the now infamous 2016 security footage of Diddy beating her at a Los Angeles hotel. Cassie said prior to the altercation, quote, we were having an encounter called a freak off, and I was leaving there, end of quote. She would take now y'all know the woman is pregnant. She big pregnant too. According to the images you see here, she looked to be at least 6 months or more pregnant. When the prosecutor questioned her about the freak off. She said she was barely 22 when Diddy first asked her to do them. She said she was, quote, confused, nervous, but also loved him very much, end of quote. Asked how she felt when Diddy first proposed engaging in a freak off, Cassie said, quote, I just remember my stomach falling to my butt. Just the nervousness and confusion in that moment, end of quote. She said she didn't feel like she could say no to Diddy because she, quote, didn't know what no could be or what no could turn into, end of quote. Which she said she learned could include violence and blackmail threats. She testified, quote, Sean controlled a lot of my life, whether it was career, the way I dressed, everything. I just didn't have much say in it at the time, end of quote. Elaborating on why she felt it was so difficult to refuse Diddy's demands, she reiterated her fears of violence and blackmail videos from freak-offs being disseminated on the internet. She said, quote, Sean is a really polarizing person, also really charming. It's hard to really be able to decide in that moment what you need when he's telling you what he wants. I just didn't know. I didn't know what would happen, end of quote. After touching on the violence and freak-offs that are central to the federal charges, AUSA Johnson returned to eliciting biographical and historical information about Cassie, including when she first signed to Bad Boy Records in early 2006. She said her interactions with Diddy, who owned the label, were platonic at first, but then he kissed her during her 21st birthday trip to Las Vegas in the bathroom of his hotel suite. Quote, I was just really confused at the time and young, end of quote. After the Las Vegas trip, Cassie says she was to invited by Diddy to hotels in New York where they talk about music projects and albums. When AUSA Johnson asked what else happened at hotels, Cassie took a deep breath and said she was introduced to the, quote, idea of oral sex, end of quote, at the hotels. Cassie also noted that Diddy is 17 years older than her and that she was, quote, sexually inexperienced, end of quote, when they first got together. She said she eventually had sex with Diddy on a boat during a trip to Miami. She said she had wine in the afternoon and then Diddy introduced her to ecstasy for the first time. After that, she said she felt closer to the rapper and producer, started spending more time with him, and thought at the time that they were in a monogamous relationship. In hindsight, she says she knows that wasn't the case and asked why, she responded, quote, Sean Combs had many girlfriends, end of quote. The numerous photographs, the prosecution then introduced many photographs of her and Diddy at events in the mid 90s. The numerous photographs included a photograph of the boat in Miami. Another photograph depicted the fledgling couple at a strip club in New York on Halloween 2007. Shortly after the trip to Miami, another picture showed them in the back of a car at the beginning of their relationship, Diddy's arm wrapped around her. She said, quote, I was just enamored by him. We were just having a good time. It was really fun at this point, end of quote. She noted that early on in their relationship, they weren't public about it. She said Diddy had expressed concerns about perceptions given that his company was also producing her music. At times in her testimony, she did become very emotional, um and sniffled and dabbed her eyes with tissues. She said Diddy would get abusive over the smallest perceived slights if she wasn't smiling at him the way he wanted, or if he thought she was acting like a brat. Quote, you make the wrong face, and the next thing I know, I was getting hit in the face, end of quote. Cassie said that if she didn't respond to his call right away, there would be incessant calls until she did, and Diddy's staff, including security workers, would join in the pursuit. She testified that jealousy was um was a problem. Jealousy was also cited during opening statements yesterday as a source of much of the conflict between Diddy and Cassie. AUSA Johnson elicited from Cassie that she and Diddy were seeing other people at times. In the beginning, Cassie said she was, quote, insanely jealous, end of quote. She said that resulted from being super young. Quote, I didn't get that he was him. As he would say, I'm Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy has many rules, like the company of women, end of quote, she recalled. She said that as time passed, she came to believe, quote, more often than not, end of quote, that they were in a monogamous relationship. Quote, he expected that of me, so I assumed it was the same, end of quote. She said Diddy told her, quote, I'm not dealing with anyone else. It's just us, end of quote. She noted that Diddy paid her rent at apartments close to his residence in New York and later in Los Angeles. He had owned he had his own set of keys and made, quote, a lot of unannounced visits, end of quote. Cassie said that as a birthday present, Diddy rented her a Manhattan apartment a few blocks from where he lived. Another apartment Diddy rented for Cassie in Los Angeles was just a 3-minute drive from his home, and he'd sometimes drive a golf cart to get from one residence to the other. They then broke for lunch. That was just a morning testimony. When they returned back after they broke for lunch, she started to this. She said that, quote, the freak offs became a job, end of quote, noting that other encounters took anywhere from 36 to 48 hours. The marathon sessions frequently required periods of recovery from dehydration, fatigue, and drug use, she said. AU Cassie says she created hundreds of songs, some of which were released on the internet prior to, quote, proper release, and some just didn't see the light of day, end of quote. Cassie testified that much of her week went toward the freak offs. Quote, freak offs became a job where there was no space to do anything else but recover and just try to feel normal again, end of quote. Cassie recalled an incident in which Diddy left her during a freak off at his Los Angeles home to confront rival record executive Suge Knight at Mills Drive-In, a landmark diner nearby. Diddy sprang into action after his bodyguard came in and told him of Suge Knight's whereabouts, she said. Diddy and the bodyguard, dressed in black clothes, grabbed guns from a safe and loaded into an SUV, she said. Quote, I was crying. I was screaming like, please don't do anything stupid. I was really nervous for them. I didn't know what they were going to do, end of quote, she testified. She said, quote, it's like I wasn't even there, end of quote. She said Diddy later returned, but she didn't say if he told her what happened. It's unclear if he ended up encountering Suge Knight at the diner. Cassie then testified that her first freak off occurred at Diddy's Los Angeles home when she was 22 around 2008. She said a male Las Vegas stripper came to the home just months after Diddy told her about his interest in voyeurism. Cassie said she felt a mix of emotions when they were finished. Dirty and confused, but also relief that Diddy was, quote, really happy with me, end of quote, that she did something right. She said she felt obligated to go along with future freak offs. Quote, I didn't want to make him upset. I just didn't want to make him angry and regret telling me about this experience that was so personal, end of quote. And if there was anything she enjoyed about freak offs and emotional, Cassie said, quote, the time spent with him, end of quote. Wiping tears away, she explained that those encounters provided some of the only one-on-one time she had with Diddy. Soon, she said she was doing freak offs weekly. The final one, she said, occurred in 2017 or 18. let me see what y'all say. I haven't even been looking at what y'all saying. Hey, China White. Let's keep going. Just want y'all to get y'all updates. Wait a minute. Okay. Cassie then said that the freak offs were a quote very choreographed experience, end of quote, with lots of baby oil. Baby oil. The substance would be heated up, a closed bottle placed in a sink filled with hot water, and applied liberally because Diddy wanted her glistening constantly. Diddy would call out Cassie when she, quote, looked dry, end of quote, and ordered her to reapply, sometimes requiring a new coat of baby oil every 5 minutes or so, she said. On one occasion, she said a blow up pool of baby oil and lubricants was placed in a hotel room, and she was told to get inside in her outfit and shoes. She said close to 10 large sized baby oil bottles of baby oil would be used during a freak off. Quote, it was such a mess. It was like, what are we doing? End of quote, she said. That's why he needed all of the baby oil, y'all. As AUSA Johnson questioned Cassie, she returned again and again to a simple but important question. Whose decision was it? Cassie replied each time, quote, Sean, end of quote, referring to Diddy. It was his decision, she said, to involve her in freak offs, to incorporate baby oil and male sex workers, to pour candle wax on her body, and more. When a prosecutor asked why Cassie says she used drugs during every freak off she participated in. When a prosecutor asked her why she used drugs, she replied, quote, for me, it was disassociative and numbing. I couldn't imagine myself doing any of that without having some sort of buffer or a way to not feel it for what it was, for what it really was, which was emotionless sex with a stranger that I didn't really want to have sex with, end of quote. During her testimony, Cassie identified some of the many male escorts she said she hired for freak offs at Combs's behest. As she spoke, prosecutors displayed photos of the men on courtroom monitors. She identified some by their real names, others she knew only by their nicknames, including one named, quote, the Punisher, end of quote. Cassie said some of the men procured online were flown to freak offs in such places as Los Angeles, Miami, and Las Vegas. Others were only used for encounters in New York City. One of those men, a stripper named Daniel Phillip, testified on Monday and Tuesday. Cassie testified that she tried to speed up freak off sex acts with male sex workers so she could get to the part she liked, alone time with Diddy. She said Diddy dictated every aspect of the encounters and that he'd get mad if they ended too soon. Quote, it was his fantasy. He was controlling the whole situation. He was directing it. End of quote. Cassie said sometimes Diddy would make her repeat sex acts with the escorts. On other occasions, she said multiple escorts were involved. Quote, I was an object being heavily objectified by men in that scenario. End of quote, she testified. Diddy didn't always stay in the room to watch Cassie have sex with the male sex workers, she said. Sometimes he'd go to another room and watch them via FaceTime, the iPhone video call app, she testified. Cassie says she remembers feeling insane when Diddy told her he wanted to start recording freak offs, videos of the freak offs. Quote, he explained it was for him for after, end of quote, she testified. She said they'd sometimes watch the videos while having sex. Cassie said she was apprehensive about being recorded and went on to delete videos that he recorded using her electronic devices. Other videos were on his device, which could be accessed by his staff, she said. She is set to, and that ended testimony for today. Now, she's not done testifying. She's going to return back for more questioning tomorrow morning from the prosecution. AUSA Johnson says she expects to finish her questioning tomorrow. After that, y'all know Diddy's attorney are going to start, and it's going to be downhill from there. That's most of what happened today. The judge did provisionally deny reporters' request to be shown the freak off footage. And that's those are your updates from today. Any questions? That was a lot for me to read, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. That was a lot for me to read. Those are your updates. Let me take a swig here. Whew. Oh, y'all in the bushes. Hey, Janae. Hey, Terrence. What's going on, y'all? So those are your Diddy updates. Now, in more Diddy news, international president of the IFFB, the International Federation of Fuck Boys, Lil Boosie, he's the international president of the IFFB. He wrote this on social media. He said, quote, if anything, this should be a domestic abuse case, not a sex trafficking case. She enjoyed the wild sex parties and the extravagant gifts on the back end. All of these years of sex parties, and you you mean to tell me she didn't enjoy it? I'm convinced she enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure she came during those freak offs. It was a lifestyle. This was consensual. She was his girlfriend. Trying to give someone life in prison for this is bullshit. End of quote. Sir, it doesn't appear to me that you were invited to any of these freak offs. Like, you don't give me the aesthetic of someone that Diddy would want to watch in the room. Sir, you want to infuse yourself or inject yourself in these situations? Sir, you're too ugly for words. You wouldn't get anywhere near a fucking freak off if you wanted to. So your judgment on what did or did not happen at a freak off, sir, we don't give a damn. Sir, go with God. Stay the fuck out of this. Well, y'all know the human excrement that is 50, the man who perpetually looks like he's auditioning to be a stunt double for the next Donkey Kong movie or the next King Kong movie. God of mercy. He decided to enter the chat by posting this on his social media when it was announced that Diddy made one of the people urinate in Cassie's mouth. He thought this was appropriate. I just cannot stand this man, y'all. I cannot stand 50. I actually absolutely wish nothing but the worst for this young man. I absolutely wish nothing but the worst. Like, both Lil Bust Down and 50 are some of the worst forms of the human spectrum. In more news, that would be ex former NFL star Darius Taylor. He has been arrested for child abuse. According to jail records, 34-year-old Darius Taylor was booked on 2 charges: one count of negligent child abuse without bodily harm, and one count of soliciting another for prostitution, lewdness, or assignation. He was released on Sunday after posting bail, which was set at $6,000. He went unselected in the 2014 NFL draft after playing college ball at Florida Atlantic University. Over the course of his career, he spent time with the Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Cleveland Browns. Now, uh, 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 um, there's limited information that is coming out about this situation, but it is being said that it does involve child abuse. They are saying that it does involve solicitation. It says one count of negligent child abuse without bodily harm, and one count of soliciting another for prostitution, lewdness, and assignation. So we haven't got much more than that about it. I'm sure people are out there digging for information, but there's very little that's coming out. I'm sure TMZ or somebody will have more information, but that's all we have thus far. We'll keep you abreast. Cardi B wants y'all to know that she is in fact dating um finance Stephon Diggs. I mean, we already knew that, but they were trying to keep it quiet. Now they were at the Celtics Knicks game last night, and they were kissing and holding hands and had all types of public displays of affection while they were sitting courtside for the game. So they want y'all to know that it is official. They are dating. Listen, Stephon, you real cute, real crude and everything, but I wouldn't want to dip my spoon into any sugar bowl where Offset has also dipped his spoon. Like I feel like Cardi B's box has become a wasteland, a dumpster fire, and a cesspool for a myriad of bacteria, STDs, and STIs. Only because, not that it's anything toward Cardi B, but when you have the spoon of Offset dipped into your sugar bowl, it just turns your box into only God knows what. Stephon, get out of Dodge while you can. That's all I got for you, Stephon. But they just want y'all to know they are officially together. Moving on. Y'all know I can't stand Cardi B. Krispy Kreme will be releasing these donuts for y'all. These are coming to a Krispy Kreme near you if you need it. Um, actually, they're available now. They're releasing these in honor of Pac-Man's 45th anniversary. Um, so they're gonna have the Pac-Man Party donuts. There is going to be Krispy Kreme signature glazed donuts topped with yellow buttercream, flavored icing, colorful sprinkles, and a mini Pac-Man topper. There's going to be also a Team Ghost donut, which you see on the left, an unglazed shell filled with chocolate flavored Krispy Kreme dipped in black icing, designed with a maze pattern and topped with ghost characters. And then you have the strawberry power berry donut filled with strawberry cream dipped in a red icing and topped with white sprinkles and green icing leaves. Y'all going it's going to be available from May 12th to the 18th at Krispy Kreme. Um yeah. I'm going to go get the Pac-Man one myself because I don't like my donuts filled with stuff. I don't like stuff being squished in my mouth. So I'm going to get the Pac-Man one because I like my traditional donuts. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm gonna go try the one in the middle. In our last story of the day, for all of you sports fans, now you know uh, 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 Pete Rose has been banned from baseball and the Baseball Hall of Fame for many years because he bet on baseball. He is dead now, but posthumously, he is now being made eligible for enshrinement in baseball's Hall of Fame starting in 2027. He can be voted on um, to be he's eligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now, he has some of the best stats of any player in Major League Baseball history. However, his betting on baseball has kept him banned from the not the NFL, the Major League Baseball and the Hall of Fame. But they're saying now that he's dead and gone and rotting in the earth, he could now be used. He could now be eligible for Baseball Hall of Fame. Just so you know. I know I was rushing through y'all, but I need to get y'all over to Really Be. That is the dossier for today. I know I went a little bit long, but I was spiking out earlier on the Democratic Party, and that's why. Yeah. Let me see if Really Be is Really Be live. Yeah, she live. Let me go ahead and send y'all over there to Really Be. That Diddy trial update took a long time too. So I gave y'all Diddy trial update. I spiked out on the Democratic Party. We got everything done that we needed to get done today. And now I can send y'all over to Really Be. Listen, I know I'm late. Tell Really Be I apologize. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Excuse me. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you made to the channel. They are much obliged. They're much appreciated. I'm going to send y'all over to Really Be. Y'all stay right there. We'll be back here at 8:30 tonight for Red, Blue, and Black with me and Cams. That's all I got for y'all until then. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out. Love y'all.